Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ear Candy with myself, Danny, and today we've got in the building Skelly. What's happening, man? You all good?
What's happening, man?
Good to finally have you in here. You've been supporting the channel and the videos and all our pages and that for ages, so it's nice to get you in here. Also, I wanted to apologise because originally you were supposed to be in here at like 2 and I had to change it to 12 to sort of a fuck up on my end, so I appreciate you being flexible
Of course, man.
with that. But it's nice to finally meet you in person after chatting on Instagram and all that bollocks. That's probably one of the better things about this is when you actually get the person in here to chat.
Definitely.
And so it's good to have you in here. So if you just want to chat about how you got your start in music, and that would be great.
So starting out, I've always really been into hip hop. I've used to listen to hip hop from a very young age. My dad was always into Dr. Dre, 2001. All this sort of gangster rap, old school hip hop. So I started listening to that, and actually, funny enough, when we were in school, I was got to school in Grangemouth at this point. We used to order diss tracks on each other,
Right.
and so we were all sending disses at each other. And then I eventually realised over time, after making beats and stuff like that, that I wanted to become a writer and start doing my own songs.
Was there any harm in the diss, or was it all just like friendly? Like you all on the same page, you just take it on the chin, or did anyone take it personally? Because they can get pretty fucking deep, these diss tracks.
It was more wee guy stuff, because I mind that like one of my mates knocked on a bin and was like, "Aye, knocking a bin, Skelly, you in there?"
To suggest as if you live in bins, I take it. Is that what you were suggesting?
Something like that, aye.
Class. So obviously you're listening to Chronic 2001. Did you have any other sort of influences for back then, or did you sort of just, when you get to a certain age, did you discover your own path with like the hip hop music? Did you find your own sort of artist that you liked that maybe your dad didn't introduce you to?
Definitely. I would say Busta Rhymes is definitely up there for me. Ice Cube, The Game is definitely top 3 for me. Dr. Dre. In terms of like old school back, I would say like Ja Rule, Ludacris. I like 213, which was Snoop Dogg, Warren G, and Nate Dogg.
Yeah. That was before he got like before he was on the Chronic and that. That was their little demo back in the day. I've not heard that in years. That got leaked years and years ago on YouTube. Obviously it's brutal, but Nate Dogg being dead now as well. He's a proper legend. Like I remember my dad when I was younger, he used to play Regulate by Warren G and Nate Dogg. He bought on single, so I remember him playing that loads when I was younger. And then sort of it was more my mum. She started to play Eminem to death. When he first started coming around, like the first couple of albums, she was obsessed with Eminem, and then kind of like yourself after that, you sort of get the genre, you like the genre, but you know there's more to it than the most like sort of mainstream stuff. Like personally for me, like my favorite style of hip hop is like the early to mid 90s boom bap. Like your Big L's and folk like that. Nas as well. Like
Nas is definitely up there.
Like the Staples, Rakim, like folk like that. I like all that. So how would you make like the transition from like making your wee diss tracks about your pals in school to actually like sitting down and writing something for like the masses to hear rather than your mates?
Well, it started off with like that, and as it went through the years, like obviously everybody forgot about it, but I didn't. And everybody sort of known me for this guy that wanted to be a rapper, but at that point I didn't know that there was rappers in Scotland, so I thought I was like the odd one out. Oh, there's no rappers in Scotland, know what I mean, just being a wee guy. And then eventually when I got older, I turned like 16, 17, and I just started writing tunes when I was stoned with my mates and the Hussies, and eventually I released one song and it just went pop, 1,000 views in like the first 5 days.
What was this, on YouTube or like
this was just
Spotify?
On my own channel, like
Right.
on YouTube. It just went bang, 1,000 views like that, and my name started to pick up. slowly after that, and it's just been constantly putting in work and doing what I can to get my name out there more.
Right. All right. Fair. Sort of fair dues. So going from that, like, how would you get to where you are, like now? Because now you've got like a sort of back catalogue of tunes. Like, you obviously take it a lot more serious now than what you did before, right?
Aye, definitely. I don't know. It was just constantly improving, and the people in the scene that gave me the opportunities to get to where I am, because I wouldn't be here myself. There's a lot of folk behind the scenes that helped me massively behind the scenes that people don't see, and they don't get the credit. They just see me up at the top with all this stuff.
So that's a bit like yourself in terms of not knowing about Scottish hip hop, and it was through a guy called 10Z that we had on here.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. I met him, and it was outside a venue where he was performing, which when I was with my mates, we didn't realise there was like any sort of gig or that going on.
Yeah.
And we bumped into him and we were just like chatting away and that, and he was telling us like, oh, I'm a rapper, I've got a show, do you guys want to come and see it and that? And I was like, aye, like, I love hip hop. He sort of said what his style was and that. I says, aye, definitely, I'll come and see you. And I was kind of blown away because obviously from the mainstream aspect, you just like what I heard was like American rap coming from over there. I didn't think that it was possible for someone from Scotland to be making tunes that I like, that, you know, predominantly come from America. So it was quite an eye opener for me, but it also made me realise that like a lot of them have got their shit down to a T. Because you know, if they're looking up to, say, like Dr. Dre and Eminem and, you know, people like that who are already at the top, that's only just going to help them write even more. If you're listening to the best of the best, you're going to take influences from them. But like, one thing I meant to ask, what's his puss again? Cryptic, when he was in here. He's a good guy as well.
Yeah, I've met him before.
He was our first guest in here, and he was brilliant. And I meant to ask him, and I mean, it pretty much goes for all rappers, but how is it you actually write? Because myself, I've made beats for years on FL Studio.
That's what I use.
And see, when it comes to writing, like actual lyrics, fucking head goes blank. Every line I write, I'm like, nah, that's shite. That would just never pass. Like, how do you like study the graph to the point where you're confident enough to be able to put it out there for other people to hear?
Well, for me personally, I just studied music in general. Like, I didn't go to college or nothing like that, or university. I just studied in my house on a laptop and just kept going and going and going. And in terms of writing songs, personally, I don't really know. I just have a wee smoke, listen to songs that I like, and then I'll put on beats and it just comes to me naturally. I've always sort of been that way. It sort of depends on what I'm feeling, and I'll just write whatever it is I'm feeling in that moment. Or if I want to write a hype tune, I'll go write a hype tune where I want people bouncing. Yeah, it just depends what my mood is, to be fair.
Do you ever like struggle to find like words that rhyme with other words? Because that's the part I struggle with. I didn't stay in school, so my English is like terrible. I feel like I still talk like I'm an 8-year-old. Like, I just, you know, some people will say words to me and I'm like, yeah, what does that mean? Like, there's a lot of words I don't know the meaning of.
I don't know. I've got quite a large vocabulary when it comes to that sort of stuff. I don't know. Like, I'm dyslexic, so I struggle to read. I struggle to spell, and I struggle to spell while writing as well. So for me, I don't know. I just sort of type it in how I know the word in my head. I know the word that I want to say. Yeah. So I'll just type it down however I think it's spelt and just keep going along and just rhyming words in my head.
I used to do that when I was younger because I'm dyslexic as well. Like, I struggled with it really tough, like when I was in primary, and I was kind of the exact same as you. So I would write something down, like in class or whatever, and the teacher would have to ask, "Oh, what is that?" And it's just the way that I would spell things. It's not actually the way that they're supposed to be spelt, but for like a dyslexic person, it makes sense to them. They're just writing down what makes sense to them. What age were you when you found out you were dyslexic?
I've not had like no diagnosis or nothing, but I can sort of tell because it's just constant. I've never been able to spell. I've never been able to like write much. Like in school, I used to, for tests and stuff like that, I used to get teachers that would come in and write up my test. So I just used to tell them what I wanted to say, and they would just write it down for me because I just couldn't do it, and it would take me too long, and I was getting rushed for time and stuff like that in tests. So
and
I
you
started
got
getting
fucking
additional
easier
support.
than me. When I was at school, I got given a fucking what they call Alpha Smarts. Do they not still have them these days in school? Oh,
Nah,
mate,
I
should
don't
have
even
seen
know what that
these
is.
things. Fucking hell. So I was the same. So see, in high school as well, like see when it came to tests, struggled like keeping up with everyone else. Like my writing was just terrible, and like my wrist would be in agony.
Aye, I was the exact same.
So they used to have these Alpha Smart things, and honestly, they were absolute bopters. Like they were these like big fuck off machines, and they were pretty much just like a typewriter, but it had like a wee screen on it, and you used to just be able to type up like that, like you would on like a keyboard on like your PC and that. But I always remember the best part about it was you could go and leave the class like super early to print off what it is that you've done.
Aye.
But if you wanted a skive even more than that, you would unplug the fucking printer, then put it back in again, and the printer took about an hour to fucking like reboot. So I used to just skive all the time and blame it on this fucking shitty Alpha Smart. And they bought it. They fucking bought it. It's probably why I'm such a Billy Bongo now, like, but they did. They bought it. So how long would you'd been making beats for? You said there that you use FL Studio as well. When did you start on that? Or
I started making beats when I was about 16. Just as that was like my introduction, because obviously Dr. Dre is a big inspiration, so obviously he makes beats. So I went down my own path and the software that fitted me best, and I started making beats, and I just never stopped. But now I'm quite lazy when it comes to making beats because it's just a lot of work for so little reward.
Yep.
But I can understand why people do it because they've got the protection. But for me personally, I don't have enough time in the day to make a beat, write a song, mix and master it, and then try put it out and figure out cover art, music videos. There's so much planning that goes into a tune. So see, just to go on YouTube and find a beat and then pay for the leash, I can still put it up on Spotify and that because I've got a lease there that says I've got so many copies.
Yep.
That's
yeah, you'll not get like a copyright strike for that. Or the other person who made the beat won't then ask for money or like
exactly,
a cut of
because
it
they've been paid
and stuff like that. I remember years and years ago on YouTube, that's how it would work. I didn't realize that people still done that, but I remember years and years ago, you used to just type in like G-Funk instrumental and YouTube, and it just come up thousands, and it's just people making beats in the house. And I remember I always had it like in the description, like reach out to me and you can buy it off me, because I think through it they would have like people shouting over the top of it just so you couldn't use it, and it would always shout out who the producer was in that.
There's a meme about it. So there's a website is beatstars.com, and they say if they didn't have that in it, they wonder how many hit songs would have been if it didn't have beatstars.com.
Yeah. I've heard that. Beatstars.com. So was it just has it always been FL Studio that you'd used, or did you use any?
Right since the start. I've never switched up. It's always been FL Studios that I've used. I started off with a wee bit of Soundtrap, and then I realised, this is no good, so packed it off and got FL Studios.
Well, that was sort of same as me. I think I was about the same age as you, maybe 15, 16. I had a Mac at the time, so that was GarageBand, and I thought that was like the greatest thing in the world. And then it wasn't until I found out about FL Studio, I was like, Jesus Christ, like GarageBand's like here, FL Studio's all the way up there if you want to fucking, make like proper beats. So when I patched the Mac, literally got a PC just for FL Studio. I've never looked back since. Like I can sit for hours in front of FL Studio and make beats. But funny thing is, like, people will say like, "Oh, like, can I hear anything you've done?" And I'm like, "Nope."
Exactly.
Nope. I don't release anything.
No.
I don't give it away. And then there's a part of me, like, since I've started doing this, like getting like folk like yourself in and other rappers and just other musicians in general, it's kind of giving me a kick up the arse to be like, oh, you should put out there because there'll be folk out there that could use it, and you get the credit for it. But then there's a part of me that's like, because I think that music can be pretty personal at times, even if it's just a beat. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to have lyrics. Like, just a beat on its own can mean something to you in that moment in time. And like music, it can be very personal to some people. So I just kind of just prefer to have it myself and just stick it on, just hit play, listen to it, bob my head to it, think, God, I wish this had lyrics, but I can't write for shit. And then turn it off and then not listen to it again for like a year or so. Like, that's just what I like doing, eh?
Nice.
It's like fucking, anything. Like, I've always gone into stuff like make things that you want to hear, not what other people want to hear.
Aye, definitely.
Like, I've got a side hustle on the side where I do YouTube. And it's like a gaming channel,
right?
And I've started making money in that off it now. Like, it's pretty good. It's finally like paying itself off now. And that was the reason why I done that, was I wanted to make videos that I would watch. Because I was like watching other people's like idea of these videos, and I'm like, nah, that's not what I would have done, or I would have changed this differently. And I was like, you know what, I may as well just fucking do it myself. If I'm critiquing other people's work, you need to be making your own shit to be in the position to be like, nah, I'm better than you, eh? Yeah, so that's why I started doing that. But it's funny, just something to pass the time. Just something to pass the time. So how have you with performing live and that? Have you performed live a lot?
Well, I done my first show last year in January, and then after that it just kicked off, and I done like, I think it was just like 13 or 14 shows last year, which is crazy. And then I put on my first one in January, and we're coming up to a second one that we're putting on in April in Glasgow.
Right.
So we've got various different artists from all over the country. A lot of familiar faces that you'll probably know.
So you make a few quid off it?
Of course, always do.
Good. That's it. It sort of pays itself off a bit, when you start seeing a bit of dough.
The first one I took a wee bit of a loss. It wasn't nothing major. Know what I mean? It was like, I don't know, I think it was 20 quid off the top of my head.
Right.
So like for this one, I'm expecting to exceed that limit.
Right.
Because the last one was in Bathgate at the Purple Orange Arts venue, so it's quite a pain to get to. But obviously, with it being Glasgow, my limits are endless, so I can just go for it.
Have you got a lineup sorted for that?
Nearly, but just waiting on a couple of artists confirming back. It's one of my artists, Half Pint. It's his headline show, so we done my headline show in the January, and then we've got Half Pint's headline show here in Glasgow, and then I'm thinking I want to go up Aberdeen too. I've got a mate up Aberdeen called Simi Did It.
Right.
He's a producer and rapper from Aberdeen. I'd like to go up and put on a show up there. I've got a lot of respect for the guys up there. The culture just up there, and the support that you get off everybody's just crazy. That's where it is at in Scotland, personally, for me.
Yeah, you were saying that off camera. I was quite surprised to hear that, because I was always under the illusion that like Glasgow is the sort of hub of Scotland when it comes to music, but it seems that's maybe more like indie, maybe a bit more electronic kind of music.
I would definitely say the Glasgow shows are absolute madness, but they're just not really my sort of shows, like loads of folk jumping about and get absolutely hammered. Like, I just don't deal well with that. I'm not really a big drinker. I'm a smoker, but like when it comes to folk being drunk and jump about me and stuff like that, you don't get that up Aberdeen. If anybody's got a problem, it's a problem for something in Aberdeen. Nobody's going to look at you. You can walk anywhere you want, and you don't need to watch your back.
Right.
So that's why I like it up there.
Do you not prefer? So you don't prefer like a rowdier crowd then?
Not really, no. Because if everybody's happy, they're just going to jump about and support you. But if everybody's just absolutely bluttered, they're going to be outside for fags. They're going to be talking to him up there. Oh, what's happening, mate? You got 50 pence for the bus. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to be away up there talking and all the rest of it. So they're not going to actually pay attention to your performance. But see if everybody's all vibing off the energy and vibing off each other, you get a better response at the crowd.
All right.
that's the way I like to look at it.
Fair play. I've always thought as an artist you'd want people as blootered as possible, fucking absolutely away with it, because I think they would let loose a wee bit more. You'd see a madder side of them.
But I done a show up in Aberdeen at the Cellar for hours up there. That's they run a lot of shows up in Aberdeen. They've been working with the Aberdeen Jazz Festival. They just put on like last week. So we were up there and I done my set and it went absolutely nuts. Probably the best performance I've ever had in my life.
Right.
The whole time I've done this, and after that the guy was drunk. He jumped up on the stage. Yes, come on, I love you. And all the rest of it. Slipped on a lime, smashed right into the speaker, and nobody could stop laughing. Honestly, it was the best end to a set. Just watching this guy absolutely scud the speaker.
Well, again, kind of. You got to respect artists' space, though, and
yeah, definitely. I don't like when people get up my personal space. Like, I appreciate you jumping about and singing the songs, but when you start getting into my space is when I'm going to back up and get a bit defensive.
Yeah. How do you get ready for live performances? Is there a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes, or is it just you sitting in your house? Just going over lyrics.
I just learn my lyrics, and then after that, I perform them that many times that I don't need to. Honestly, it takes me, if I really wanted to do it quick, I could do it in like 3 to 4 days. Learn a tune and be ready to perform it.
Really?
As long as I'm not like pressurized, that has to be my choice.
Yeah.
If I'm pressured into it, then I'm most likely going to mess up the tune.
Right.
So I'll stick to the stuff that I know.
You want to stick to your own pace. You don't want to be forced to do shit like that. So obviously you've got your studio as well. You were talking about. How did that come about?
So I was going through to Rugged Studios in Dunfermline, and I just started. It was 11, 12. It was I really liked his music, and I was a big fan of his stuff. And I started going through there, and at this time I was sort of switching between studios because the last studio I went to Jazz, and there was a lot of chaos and stuff like that happened, and I was like, look, Edinburgh's not good. So I started going through to Dunfermline.
What was wrong with the one in Edinburgh? Like, what was going on there?
It was like straight across the road from the train station, and honestly,
is this at Haymarket? There's a studio there, I know about that studio.
There, and it was just absolute carnage. And see, just having the travelling through to Edinburgh,
there's like practice spaces in there as well, isn't there?
This was run by Zones, which is Jad. He's a big artist from Edinburgh. I started going through to him, and then obviously I transitioned over to 11, 12, and I basically stayed there. And I wanted to go to college to learn a course to learn how to mix and master. So I always talked about when I had my own studio. I was sitting in my mate Pro Focus's house. I don't know if you've heard him.
No, we're getting him in here. I like him.
He's another rapper for Stirling, and when I was talking about it, and then like the first ever mix that we done won Beats to the Rhyme Scottish Hip Hop Song of the Year. That was my first ever mix and master that I had done for anybody.
Really?
And it was crazy. It just went pop, and then
holy shit,
ended up winning an award for it, which was heavy cool.
That Pro Focus, he was on Conscious Roots' newest album, Belters, he reached out to us, that Pro Focus guy, or I think I reached out to him actually, because it was through Cryptic.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of been giving me recommendations of guys to look out for and that. So we're just waiting on a date for Pro Focus, but
he's a busy man.
I know. He came across that way when I was messaging him, and he was just kind of saying like, he's got a few things he needs to tie up first.
No, of course.
And then he'll be ready to jump on. But is he about the same age as you then, or is he a bit older?
No, I'm 19.
Right, and how old is he?
Pro's 26, I believe. I think that's right. He's 26. But I'm younger, but I've always been about an older crowd. Like Half Pint, one of my artists is 25, Lofts 22, Pro's 26, and obviously I talked to YB and Daza, and they're a bit older than me as well. Right. So I've always been more drawn to an older crowd. I think it's just more towards my maturity levels.
Yeah.
Like folk my own age, I just look at them as and just feel like you're a dafty.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. See, the majority of my mates, I've got a few close pals from like my high school years. But see, outside of that, majority of my pals are like 15, 20 years older than me. I actually got one mate. I'd never known how old he was. The conversation had never come up. And we were talking, and he was like, oh, I need to do something big for my birthday next year. And I was like, oh, you 40? And he was not 50. I was like, what? I was like, what? You're fucking 49-year-old? I was like, what the fuck? I didn't realise that. I'm 31, eh? He's a fucking 49-year-old. I was like, holy shit. I said, I thought you were in your 30s. Like, looks young for his age, eh? But, mate, I'm the same. Like, see, even when I was like, don't know, maybe 18, 19 and that, and going out clubbing and that, I just couldn't be fucked with people my own age.
Like, I don't even do that. I don't go out clubbing or nothing like that. I'd rather, if I'm going to get on it, I'll get on it in my house where I can.
Honestly, see, you are not missing anything by not going out these days. Like, I don't know. You might see people your own age posting fucking clips of that and then being out and pretending like they're having fun. They're probably miserable as fuck by the way.
Alright, as long as they come to Skelly's show, it's alright. They'll have a good night.
Because I swear to God, clubbing these days is awful. Like, the last time, like I go to a lot of gigs, obviously. When I was in one in Edinburgh, I can't remember exactly when. It was a few months ago, and it was after it. My mate was like, "Oh, we'll go along to Opium, or it's called Legends now, I think, which is like a rock and metal bar, but on the weekend it's like a club. It's more of a club vibe. It plays the same sort of music." So I was like, it's been a while since I've been there. Let's go along. And I was he got a table in that, so I was like, I'll get the round in. He was like, yeah, no worries. So I'm standing at the bar, it's fucking heaving, just people all over me, pissed, people putting their arm around me and that. I'm like, man, get the fuck, I don't know you. And I get to the bar, and this fucker, he wasn't next to me, he was nowhere near me. He's pushed his way through, he's got there, and the lassie comes over, serves him, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I says, I think you find I was before you. And he was like, no, you weren't. And I says, I was. And then the lassie went, right, which one of you got here first? So obviously we both went, me, which I genuinely was. And he got fucking served, eh? And that just fucking pissed me off. Because I was pretty much brought up in bars from like a young age, like going to the football with my dad and that. He would always take me into the pubs. And bar etiquette with like folk my age is non-existent. So I got the 2 drinks, went back over to the table. I said to my mate, I says, yeah, mate, I'm really sorry, but I'm literally having this and I'm going. And he's like, oh, what's wrong? I says, I can't be fucked with this anymore. I can't be fucked being around the same people as me. Like, there's a sort of, you'll get like this as well. I think you get to a certain age where like the application for mates just gets cut off completely. So you just want to be around your pals that you've known from a young age. That's it. Like, see being out and people coming up to you, putting an arm around you. Right, mate, I love you, pal, and that. I'm like, fuck, I didn't know who you are. Get away from me. Like, I don't like that. But see, at a gig, I'm a wee bit different for you. I like a rowdy gig. I've got like metal gigs and stuff like that, and I don't know if you've seen the sort of crowds that they get, like fucking
like mosh pits punching each other,
circle pits,
kicks and
walls of death,
crazy, man.
Fucking crowd surfing, stage diving, man, you name it. I like those crowds. They're pretty crazy.
They're crazy. I couldn't be in a crowd like that, man. I wouldn't make it home.
Oh, mate, you'll always wake up with like bruises on random bits of your body, thinking like, how the fuck did that get there? It's crazy. Like, that's the most painful thing I've ever experienced. Was in Glasgow. It was probably about 15 years ago now, and I was seeing a band called Municipal Waste. They're from the States, but they're like a sort of thrash metal band,
right?
And they were pretty vocal about just letting folk run up on the stage. As long as you jump off, like, you can't just go up and stand on the stage and that. So I've went up, jumped off, got caught, and I was like, oh, this is amazing, like, this is fucking great. So I said to my mate, I was like, I'm going to take it a next step further. I said, watch this. So I've went up onto the stage, then jumped on the PA stack, and then forward flipped off it. Nobody caught me, and I went all the way down. And honestly, I could hear the slam of me hitting the ground over the music, And I don't know if you've ever experienced it before, but have you ever been like proper winded before? Where it's like, it just feels like your whole body's just fucking emptied itself. And I was like lying on the floor like, oh, it was horrible. And I got lifted up in that because like as crazy as the crowds are, like if you fall down, they're going to fucking, get you back up again. And the guy's like, "That you all right? You all right?" And I'm like, "Why the fuck did you catch me? Why the fuck did you catch me?" And the guy's like, "Mate, you were up on a fucking PA system. Like, there's no way anyone's going to catch you jumping off of that. You're fucking crazy." But would I do that now? Fuck no. Absolutely hell no. There's absolutely no way I would do that now. But anyway, we're going a bit off topic here, talking about fucking gigs and shit like that. So have you been getting much success with the studio then?
It's getting there, definitely getting there. It's just about building up a brand. See, the thing is, there's so much competition, but everybody's just overcharging for what it is. Like, I know people that charge £100 for a mix and master, and I'm like, mate, I can mix a tune in 10 minutes if I really wanted to.
Right.
But these folk are doing it by the hour and then they're recording it and then they're just putting a crap remix on it and then charging £100 for it. And I'm like, how can you even do that? I only charge £40, which I think is quite reasonable. It means that anybody for any age, it doesn't matter what your background is, you can come in here. There's a vibe. I prefer folk to be comfortable and stuff like that as well. It's no so much as you're coming in and you're like, right, record your tune and then go.
That's what we kind of like to do in here as well. Like, say, come in and chat to you a bit before you actually start recording.
Exactly.
You don't even want to just fucking chuck you right in the deep end.
I know.
Cameras on, lights on, right, go, tell me about yourself. Like, yeah, I'm a bit like that as well. But there probably is studios out there that are the opposite. Like, they'll just see you as, like, cash. They'll just see you as a cash symbol. And honestly, it's like literally just a revolving door, right? So we'll get you in, do it, bash it out quickly, and then bolt.
Exactly. There is a good few studios that I know that have done that. But with the studios I went to, I got sort of lucky. The first one I didn't. That was that sort of situation. It was literally just for dough, and that was it. And then when I went through to Rugged Studios and started going there, it's like he actually taken an interest in my music, and I was going home with a mix, and he's going, "Oh, here's your mastered version." He sent me it like 2 days later because he's forgot.
Right, yeah.
And like,
some people keep a hold of that, don't they? Like, isn't there some studios that will keep a hold of the master as well, or is that more record labels that do that?
I would say more record labels. In terms of studios in Scotland, it's literally you come, you record your tune, you leave.
Right.
You leave with the tune, and I delete most of it off my files unless it's reoccurring customers. If it's somebody that's come one time and they do a tune, I'll just take it straight off my file.
It's good that you sort of build a sort of rapport with, the people that come in, because I don't see, or personally myself anyway, I didn't think I'd be able to like you say, relax if you felt like you were just money to them. Which I get, there's a business side of it. Like, people need to make their money, but it's how you go about making the money to do it. Like, it's nice to be nice. You didn't want to fucking actually make someone feel like that's all they're in there for, is, transactional for money, which is you need to take an
interest in your customer. One thing I always say, if you come to Bear Cave, I let the artist be the artist. I'll ask them, what do you think? Would you rather retake this, or do you want this? And I always ask the artist opinion, because every time I've been in a studio, I've just had a tune mixed and mastered and flung at me. I've never had somebody sit down and actually break down the tune, so I'm trying to be like that different style sort of thing when it comes to that. Like,
I think I've misunderstood you completely then. So you're telling me there's people that pay money to go to studios and they don't get guidance on anything?
No.
So they're happy to just have them record a song, spitting it on the mic or whatever, right? And then that's it. It might not even fucking be in sync or anything like that.
No, obviously not. No, they'll obviously like record it and then mix and master it, but like I'll break it down. So like I'll say to the artist, I'll say I cut the beat and I'll move it and I'll go, how do you think that sounds? And they go, right, I like that, but could you drag it in and not make it as long? And I break it down with the artist, so I make sure they're going away with a product that they're happy with, instead of just me doing it and be like, oh, there's your mix and master, off you pop.
Right, okay. I get what you mean. I'm quite shocked to hear that there is fucking actual studios and whatnot out there that do it opposite to you.
Of course.
I would expect that to just be the standard of how you're doing it.
The thing is with Scottish rap is there is not enough level of consistency. I've been saying this for time. There's not enough level of consistency. Who's popping is popping. But for me personally, when I was trying to break into the scene, if you ain't in the scene or you don't know people in the scene, you ain't getting in it.
No.
I had to break into the scene myself. So I brought myself into the scene, and now I've got people that are behind me because I've built it up, and now I've got my own wee space in the scene where I'm connected to all these people.
So did you not know anyone at all?
I didn't know anybody when I started. I actually found out about the first studio that I went to through a rapper called Shadow. It's like an outcast Scottish rap because he's just a dick.
Right.
Yeah, and he just robs people. I'm not a big fan of him.
What do you mean he robs people? How does he rob people?
Like, if he's doing mixing masters, he wants like full credits and he wants royalties and this and all that. And I'm like, mate, you're tripping, man.
Yeah, if someone's paying you for a service already, if someone's paying him for the service, that's it.
It's like £300 for a mixing master off him, and I was like, you're crazy, mate.
Whereabouts is he from then?
He's from Kilmarnock.
Oh, right, okay.
But he's known for having a lot of beefs in Scottish rap. So I
can
found
tell
out
why.
about him through his Snapchat story. I found that my first ever studio, and I went there for a couple tunes. And
you went with this guy then, aye?
No.
Right.
I sort of spoke to him back and forth, and we did work out something, and I did get a few tunes mixed and mastered. And then the guy that he was beefing with, because I just realised at our time that he was just a loony, so I just went to the guy that he was beefing with his studio, and then it just started a big chaos, and he's putting big mad rants up about me on Instagram and that, and I was like,
about you?
This is a headache, man. He's just like an internet troll is the best way to describe him.
Oh, fuck that, man.
I know.
Can't be arsed with folk like that.
No, definitely not.
That's shit. So what have you got planned for the future on that then?
I'm dropping an album in the summer. I've got an album dropping called Welcome to Stirling. It's personal to my hometown and really try to show.
Welcome to Stirling, it's called.
Welcome to Stirling. The first tune on it is basically like a big mad shout out to Stirling. Like, I'm trying to put my town on a map. Like, we be out here putting in the graft and that, but we're not getting the dedication. And it's constant. Like, we just need to keep grafting and show folk that we're here and we're ready, you know what I mean? Like, Stirling is on the map, and me and Pro Focus are definitely the two tops, but we've also got like people like IC1 Stephen and Pache. They're a duo, but Stephen does solo stuff, and I think Pache is now breaking out into solo stuff. But they two are just in the background. They do their own thing. Like, and I know them. They're my bros. Know what I mean?
Are they all featuring on this album?
I've got a producer from Stirling called F8.
Right.
He's got millions of views. He done an Adele drill remix beat, and it just went pop. It was like 8 million views or something like that. He's got in total. Shit. But people don't know about the wide like variety music that comes from Stirling. Do you know a DJ called Sam Gellickdry?
No.
He's a big DJ. He comes from Stirling as well. But like, it's just constant for us. Like, I've got Pro featuring on the album, but it's like more sort of my circle and my sort of people, like people that I've got connections with. It's not just so much about Stirling, like it's to put Stirling on the map, but it's a very personal project to me. Like, I really put my heart and everything into this project, as well as I've got the bouncy tunes that everybody can vibe along to. You'll sort of get to see a light of me that I've never really showed, because I don't show much about my personal life in my music. So this is like definitely a step forward where I want to sort of relate to folk and become. I always say to folk, I'm not a rapper. I'm an artist. I paint pictures.
Exactly.
That's what this album is. I'm painting a big picture with every song.
What's your sort of style on this album? Because from listening to you, I kind of got that you're pretty versatile.
I'm versatile
in your writing. Because was it Fucked Up Mind?
Yeah,
that's
old school.
I heard that. Yeah, that was like boom bap. Like, I really liked that. I thought that
I made
was
the beat for that as well.
Did you make the whole thing? Yeah, I thought that was a great tune. But then, is it Miley Cyrus? Do you have a song called
like
Miley Cyrus?
Film. Yeah, that's got Wee Dog on it. There's a funny story behind that actually. So I wrote that while listening to Miley Cyrus Malibu, and I've always had a thing for Miley Cyrus. I just always thought she was hot. I was like, aye, Miley Cyrus, man. And then I put out a wee competition. I was like, look, send me your best verses, and I'll try to get a feature on it. So I wrote it, I found a beat, I put it up, and Wee Dog, the rapper that's on it, he entered it, and when we done it, he got a free mix. We recorded the verse, I fully mixed and mastered it, and I paid for Yona Mac Media for the music video as well.
How does that work with that Yona Mac Media? Because I came across their YouTube channel, and yeah, I'm not fucking taking the piss or anything like that, but it's all the videos seem to be very like the same.
I don't know, with me and Yona, I've got a very good connection. Like, I love Yona. Like, she's probably, in terms of like the scene, like people that aren't rappers, Yona's top of my list.
Right.
Like, for people there, like, but that's probably down to the artist. Yona's up for anything. I've had Yona in the back of a boot while me and Half Pint are ripping down the road in a quad. Yona's crazy. She's up for absolutely anything. It's just down to the artist and the ideas that we have.
I liked one aspect of the videos that I did watch, because I just went on the channel and just sort of just had it playing while I was sitting messing about on my computer, is the backgrounds of the music videos. I know the location of probably maybe 90% of the videos that I've seen in there. I've seen Princess Street Gardens. I've seen loads of locations in Edinburgh, a few in Glasgow as well.
Yeah, Yona's based in Edinburgh. That's where she's based.
Oh, is that where she's based? How long has she been doing all that for? Do you know?
I think about 5-6 years, if I'm being honest. I think it's roughly about that, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
So see with the Yona Mac Media, do you get any revenue from the videos that get posted on the channel?
So the way that it works, right, is with Yona, if you want a music video, it'll cost you so much, but you have an option to pay a wee bit more and get your rights to the video, where you can put it up on your own channel, or you can put it up on her channel where she's built it up.
Right,
so you're going to
get all the views and the subscribers.
Exactly, that's the way I see it. It's more an investment for a music video. To go on a platform and be on somebody else's platform, you're reaching people that maybe don't know you, that maybe just discovered the channel, and they're listening to Scottish rap. There's new listeners. It's definitely better to collaborate with brands rather than try to do everything solo and independent, because you'll gain more traction from it.
Yeah, if you can use the platform, like you say, they've already built, and you hope that the subscribers that they've got are into the same stuff. So when the video goes up, they're more inclined to watch it if they are. How much is it for like a music video and whatnot these days if you were to source it like that?
Yona's got like a series called The Drop, and it's like a freestyle series. So obviously I jumped on that.
I was going to say, I've seen you on that.
Yeah, I jumped on that today. I shot a deeper song. I was speaking to an Italian producer, and he sent me a beat, and I was just like, let's do this, and just started writing. But that tune started out as like a Bad Boy Chiller Crew tune.
Right.
So it was like bouncy. It wasn't deep and sad, and then I changed it to like add the melody and stuff like that, and I just thought it worked better with the Italian guitar.
Wait, were you in contact with him throughout it? Were you asking him, "Oh, can you maybe add this?" Or did he just give you all the parts and then you were able to mess about with it yourself?
He just basically sent me a beat. I got hit up one day on Instagram. I think I had about 400 followers or something at this point, and he just hit me out of the blue, and then he was like, "Yo, man, I heard your stuff. It's sick. I'm from Italy. Can I send you some beats?" And he sent me some, and he sent me like 5, and I was like, the first 4 were crap. And this beat come on, and I was like, I've got something for that. So I went to the studio to record it, and then I booked in the video with Yona for that. Well, at that time, I think I paid 75 quid or something. But in terms of actual music videos, it's usually, it can range anywhere between 200 to 450. Depends who you go to.
Right. I suppose that's like you say, you've got to put something into into it to get something back, eh?
Definitely. It's like Ice Cube said, you need to be prepared to make no money for 3 years and only spend, or music isn't for you.
I suppose it's a lot of things though, eh? But no, you are right. It's just unfortunate that you can't just make tunes and that right away and then start getting a fucking shitload of income from it.
That's why I'm trying to learn how to do everything. I've just started doing videos as well. I'm looking to open up my own season, and my first episode just dropped 2 days ago. Daza JFT.
Right.
JFT. And that's called Hunting Season. So that's like a freestyle video that gets done in the studio. And then obviously if you want the tune mix and mastered, I can do it there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like just in a moment sort of thing, and I was like, right, maybe I can make this a proper thing. So I've just started it up, and then I'm obviously going to get Half Pint's going to be the next episode. So he's coming to the studio tomorrow to record his.
Oh, brilliant.
So I'm looking forward
to it. Yeah, you look forward to that, then, eh? And I might have to write something and come along and feature on this. You'll hear some of my shitty lyrics, man. I just wish I could write. It's just one thing I just find so frustrating, like on my end anyway, with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make a beat, I really like it. I'm like, oh God, I wish I could write lyrics. But then, like yourself, you can just be handed beats and listen to it and know straight away, oh, I've got something for that. Like, I just don't understand that. So I don't understand how that works. That's why I think like musicians on any kind of genre of music, they're on a different level from everyone else. Like, I would say I know enough about music, but that still just makes me a fan. I think people who actually create it, they know the ins and outs. Like they're on a different level when it comes to it. And like I said, I've made beats and stuff before. It doesn't make me an expert, you know. It doesn't. That's why I say I'm just very passionate and I'm a big fan of music. But folk like yourself who are involved with it, writing, you know, making beats, videos, and all that. That's another level. And I think you got to be born with that.
I don't know. I'm just about different, I suppose. I don't stop.
Good.
Ever.
Good.
I'm just always thinking about what's next. And that's where I feel a lot of artists slack, is they can release a banger and it goes pop and everybody's loving it. Everybody in the Scottish scene is bigging them up, and then eventually over time they start to lose their traction and it just slowly goes down. But for me, I've just been focused on beating my last tune every time.
Yeah.
Every time I drop something, I look at the last video and I'll go, well, that done well, let's do better.
Yeah.
And I just constantly progress to try and make stuff better and think of ways that I can do stuff and other stuff that I can offer in the studio to try grow the brand more. My mind is always racing, man. It just doesn't stop.
Are you thinking about maybe doing like a big collaboration with a lot of other rappers?
It would really depend. I would need the right situation and it to be perfect timing for anything like that to happen. I wouldn't be a spur of the moment thing. I think if I was going to do something like that, it would need to be planned.
That's how like we got put on to Conscious Route. It was through Cryptic. And I asked him, I said, where's Scotland's like equivalent of the first Chronic album? Like, I want to hear Scotland's version of that. And that's how he put us on to Conscious Route. Because he's got that album Belters, which just features a whole load of hip-hop artists here in Scotland. But that doesn't have to be the only one. Like, I want to hear like more of that. I think that, you know, to get everyone on the map at the same time and get everyone up to the same level, it's probably the way to go about it. And I would think that you've got quite you're in like a fortunate position, obviously, with your studio and that, because you may have some folk that come in and you might think to yourself like, oh, they're all right and that, but then there must be one or two that comes in and you go, fucking hell, they're shit hot. You would have them as a contact, so if anything was to come up, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to do this featured album. I want fucking 10 or 12 artists on it. Do you fancy coming on? Like, you're lucky that you've got it that way.
Yeah,
you should fucking put some time into doing something. I think that'd be pretty cool, by the way. Just do like a big fucking huge collaboration.
That would be cool, eh? But it's just, I feel like for Scotland, you're very limited with what you can do, because in Scotland it's like sort of shamed upon to do this. Like, we get constant hate all the time. People say we can't do it because we've got a Scottish accent.
Nah.
Everybody is against the Scots. Even the English, Americans, like, they didn't believe that we can do it. And the problem in the Scottish scene is we don't come together. Everybody's spread out. Everybody's got their own groups. And you've got all these different things.
Yeah.
But if we don't come together, we're never going to blow up. It's just going to keep being like what it has been. Shogun, pop, blew up.
Yeah.
And then 001's pop, blew up. Sherlock had some fame, as well as McCroy. And all these big names are all doing it because, like, they've stuck together in their group. And at that point in the Scottish scene, it was all about the love of the music. It's changed now. It's all about, you're a dafty because you come for this scheme, and I said I was going to stab so-and-so in this tune, and it's
but
like...
to be fair,
why?
like, do you know, that is kind of that is hip-hop though, isn't it? Like, that is, like, you got to think, like, back in the day, in boroughs in New York and that, Harlem, the Bronx, you had all these bands, Wu-Tang Clan and, you know, BDP Posse, all of them, they were all coming out from the same area, like same cities, but just different boroughs within the city, and that's what they were all doing. They were all dissing each other.
I'm all for
but
it.
I think at the time, like, it was obviously at its peak. Like, you could get away with it, and it'd be taken a bit more seriously. I think that maybe nowadays, like, I would say it's probably a bit more frowned upon. Like, because if I was listening to, like you just mentioned there, if I was listening to an artist for Edinburgh who was going on about stabbing someone, I'd be like, you're a fucking knob. Like, just instead of fucking channeling all your hate into something you're never going to do, because let's face it, you're not going to fucking stab them. You're just all mouth.
Exactly.
Why don't you just collab together? If you think you're so fucking great and the other guy thinks he's so great, why don't you just come together and make something? Why don't you turn a fucking, you know, a negative into a positive by doing that?
There's too much ego in this scene. People need to realise, you might have 100k views, but it's just Scotland. That's nothing. Like, get on your level, pal, because you're not up here with the greats. You need to come down here and just remember that you're still up and coming, and you might be on your way to pop, but until you pop, you need to keep level-headed and always stay humble. That's what I always say. You need to stay honest to yourself as an artist and stay humble. And if you can't do that, then you're just going to have that much an ego, and when you walk in the room, your ego's going to show. You didn't want that, because artists will just be like, oh, he toots up his own horn all the time, and I don't like
I don't think it's cool either, like the promoting of violence like that. Like, you know, when I was younger, when I listened to hip hop, and you know, they're glamorizing shooting guns and shagging bitches and hoes and all that. Like, it's great when you're younger, right?
Aye,
but
obviously.
when you get a bit older, you're just kind of like, when I listen to some of it back now, I'm like, nah, you never actually done any of that though, mate, did you? You're just fucking saying that on record to make yourself sound good.
I don't know, like, some of the rappers are absolutely nuts.
But do you, like, I think the problem with rap now, maybe more so in London than here, is the glamorization of gangs, drugs, stabbings and stuff like that. Like, it's not a good life to live. Nah, and the thing is as well, like, it's always someone else getting, you know, the big money from that. Like, you're just like a pawn in, you know, another guy's scheme, and that's what I don't like. It's sort of taking advantage of the youth, and I don't agree with that.
When you promote this lifestyle, you're asking for problems. If you're jumping about saying that's why a lot of them wear ballies on their face, because see if they're caught live in the flesh with their face out. Like, I mind that I was getting messages off a rapper for Edinburgh. He was for Nidri.
Oh, what was his name?
Tojo.
I don't know Tojo.
He was talking about shooters.
I know Nidri.
He was talking about shooters, and he's like, aye, I'll pull up and pop you. I was like, you're in Nidri, no Compton, mate. Take a seat. It's like, jeez,
trust me,
man.
Mate, there's no guns in Nidri, mate. I wouldn't be worried. And I don't think
no guns anywhere in Scotland.
I can guarantee he probably does not have the petrol to be driving through to fucking Stirling to pop you off in any kind of way.
He's not even old enough to drive. That's the worst part of it.
He's going to get his mum to do a drive-by, well.
Right, mum, stop the car. Boom.
That's embarrassing, man.
I know.
But the thing is, like, though, is it not a bit of you that maybe thinks, God, you should maybe take the threat seriously, or do you just look at it and think, what a knob, and
most
then just
of these
forget
guys,
about it?
like, see, to me, I come from times where you went down the park and you fought with these. You didn't use any of these shanks or nothing like that. It's like, nowadays it's like sort of required, because when you're walking about, you don't know who you're going to bump into, and you don't know how many there are going to be. So you need to make sure that you're safe and make sure that you get home at night, because that's what it is like round here. It's constant, like, everywhere in Scotland is just drugs, violence, and it's promoted so heavy. Like, anybody that comes in my studio, I'm trying to get them away for that stuff. Like, because it's no cool. Like, I've been there, I've done it, and it's no cool. It's no something that you want to big up about and all the rest of it. It's just stupid. And the fact that you're jumping in tunes and you're just basically grassing on yourself. Every time you do a tune. Like, every time you go to studio, you're telling somebody, like, that you've done that. Like, for me personally, when I realised, oh shit, it's time to grow up, I got pulled in off the CID. CID come to my door and picked me up. And I went in, and there was just so much stuff on the table. And after that, I was like, Jesus, this is constant. Like, wow. Like, a pure heavy shat myself. And I was like, this isn't cool. So what,
you got pulled into something, but were you grassing in on yourself like what you were just saying there?
Like, basically what happened is I think they just got information off of somebody, and they just come to my door to pick me up. And after that, I was like, it's time to make a change. It's not worth it anymore. Know what I mean? I've got stuff I want to do. I've got a life to live. Got places I want to see. Big plans.
You're a smart man, honestly, because I think when I was your age, I was still a wee fucking fanny, you know? So it's good that you've got your head screwed on, because the thing is now, like, I'm 31, and, like, I look back on some of the things I've done when I was younger, and I think, God, there's no way in hell I would have done that now. Like, there's just no way. And, you know, thankfully it was nothing too serious to where it affects my life now. But, no, some of the people that I knew, some of the shit they were getting up to, and I think, God, I'm not in contact with them anymore, thankfully, but I think, God, I can only imagine what fucking nick they're in now.
Yeah, I know.
Because if they've fucking themselves at a young age doing stupid things, I'm just glad that I never got too carried away with that, with all that stuff, because it does come back and haunt you. That dream job you want, or whatever it is,
it'll just back to bite you in the arse.
It comes back to bite you in the arse. You know what I mean? And if there's fannies out there now that are, God, the thing is, you're not that age in that moment forever. So you could be 15, 16-year-old running about with a machete and that and think it's great. But trust me, in 15 years' time when you look back, it's no fucking great. And you've got criminal records, and you potentially could be in jail and that. Like, there's fuck all glamorous about it at all. And the worst part is, like I say, there's always someone at the top of that food chain sitting in a big house, fancy car, fucking porn star wife, who's got all the money, while they've got all these wee fannies on the streets doing all the work for them.
Exactly. That's how it rolls. You're just a pawn in somebody else's game.
Exactly. Spot on. But I just got told there that we've only got a couple of minutes left, so we'll need to wrap this up, unfortunately. But I always like to end it by saying, have you enjoyed yourself?
I have, yes. Thanks for having me on, man.
It's
I
appreciate it. It's all right. And where can everyone find you?
You can get me on Instagram at Skelly.1872. And if you're looking for any Bear Cave stuff, it's bear_cave.studio. And we also have a website, so make sure and look on my story, you'll see the website.
I'll keep an eye on them for when your album drops. I'll be looking forward to that. Summertime, you say?
Summertime.
This is Stirling, or Welcome to Stirling?
Welcome to Stirling.
Welcome to Stirling. I'm buzzing for that. And I'm sure you'll be doing gigs and all that as well. So
yeah, of course.
I'll hopefully try and come along to one of your shows. But have you got anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah, big shout out to Loft, Half Pint, and all my guys back home.
Yes. Shout them all out, man. They're your buddies. They're your buddies. And if you're watching this and you're pals with Skelly and you want to come on, you're more than welcome to. But that's it for the day. You alright if we finish this up?
Aye, man.
Right, let me do my wee outro and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. Right. Thanks for watching that episode of Ear Candy. Much appreciated. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.